Welcome back to Musings of a Former Overachiever, my friends. This is the podcast where we unpack what it really means to lead, live, and make decisions without overworking, overthinking, or overcompensating. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful internal check-ins I've found for myself recently and that I've been sharing with the leaders that I work with. And we're talking about how to tell the difference between when you're leading from your true self, that wise, grounded, clear part of you, and when you're just reacting from old programming. You know that feeling. You're doing all the right things, crushing your goals, hitting those deadlines, being the glue that holds your team together. And yet there's a moment, often in the quiet, when you just wonder, wait, am I actually choosing this or am I just doing what I've always done? And if that question hits home for you, you're going to want to stay with me because by the end of this episode, you'll have a practical tool you can use daily to come back to your authentic self. This is a tool that's going to help you lead with more clarity, more alignment, and less reactivity. So let's get into it. So I just want to start with some honesty. Autopilot leadership isn't always a bad thing. And what I mean by autopilot is like you don't think about it, you just react. And that isn't always a bad thing. It's efficient. It's predictable and it gets the job done. But over time, it also becomes hollow. Because here's the thing. Most overachievers were trained to perform before they were trained to feel, to do, before they were taught to discern. We learned how to succeed, but we didn't always learn how to check if what we were succeeding at actually mattered to us. So instead of acting from what Richard Schwartz calls our capital S self, we end up leading from protective parts, those patterns that once helped us survive but aren't meant to be in charge long term. And when those parts are leading the show, it looks like this. You're over scheduling because you're afraid of letting people down. You're over delivering because you're afraid you're not enough. You say yes when you mean no because a part of you believes that's what good leadership looks like. But deep down, something just feels off. And that is yourself, your higher self, knocking on the door. In internal family systems, or IFS, Richard Schwartz identifies 8 qualities that naturally emerge when we're operating from our true self energy. And these aren't qualities that you have to try to activate. They're what you uncover when the noise of your automatic parts gets quiet. And they are the 8 C's: calm, clarity, curiosity, compassion, confidence, courage, creativity, and connectedness. When one or more of these are present, you know that you're leading from your true self. When they're absent, it's a sign that a protector part, like your inner perfectionist, your people pleaser, or your controller, is driving the bus. I want to break them down one by one, and I'm going to show you how each one of these can become a micro coaching question for yourself to help you reset. So let's dig in. Calm. You want to ask yourself, is my nervous system calm or am I rushing through this? Calm, just to be clear, does not mean slow. It means grounded. You can be decisive and still be calm. You can be in the middle of chaos and still lead with calm. If you feel like you're just pressuring yourself through the day or your heart rate is spiking every time that someone emails you, you're not in your true self. So you want to pause, breathe, and come back to your body. Number two is clarity. Am I actually seeing what's happening, or am I just reacting based on old assumptions? Clarity really helps you separate the facts from your stories. It lets you respond to what is, not what you fear might be. Without clarity, we micromanage, we assume, we spiral, we overthink. With clarity, we really cut through the fog. So, an example might be if you're upset that someone didn't reply to your message, clarity would be asking the question, what do I know for sure? What story am I adding on top? What else could be true? Number three is curiosity. Can I get curious about this instead of judgmental? This is one of my favorite feelings, and I try to cultivate this one as much as possible. Curiosity is the antidote to defensiveness. It says, there might be more to this than I can see right now. The moment that you find yourself saying they always or I have to, you're probably locked in a story. Get curious. What else might be true? Compassion. Can I hold space for myself without rushing to fix or perform? And I gotta be honest. This one was really hard for me as an overachiever, and it might be for you too. Compassion doesn't mean that you're giving up or going easy on yourself. It means that you stop beating yourself up as a form of motivation. One of my favorite things is I ask myself, would I talk to a team member this way? Would I talk to a friend this way? Would I talk to, you know, my children this way? Confidence is number five. Do I trust myself to handle what comes next? True confidence is quiet. It doesn't posture or puff up. It comes from knowing that I may not know everything, but I trust that I can figure it out. If you're trying to prove that you're right, that is not yourself, your higher self. That's a protector. Courage is number six. Am I willing to feel uncomfortable to do what's right for me? Courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing the aligned thing even if fear is present. Sometimes it's speaking up. Sometimes it's staying silent. Sometimes it's addressing the elephant in the room when no one else is. But it always moves you closer to authenticity. Creativity. Do I feel boxed in or can I imagine some new options? Our protective parts of us give us binary choices: fix it or run, say yes or disappoint. Creativity is where the third options live, where the fourth and fifth options live, where nuance and innovation appear. You want to be asking yourself, what's possible that I haven't considered yet? And finally, connectedness. Am I relating to others or just performing for them? That's a really interesting question, is it not? When you're connected, you're not posturing, you're not managing perceptions, you're in a relationship, not in image control. Ask yourself right now, am I being with this person or managing how they see me? This was a big one for me. I managed how other, and still do a lot of times, how other people see me. And this is a big clue that you're not in yourself, your true self. So let's talk about how to make this practical. And I'm going to ground it with a quick exercise for you. And if you're driving, you might want to wait until you're not driving. If you're walking, it's probably okay. Think of a moment in the past week where you just felt off. Maybe you got snarky in a meeting, like I did last week. Maybe you said yes to something and immediately regretted it. Maybe you shut down and withdrew. So I really want you to think about that moment. You got it? Now, let's walk through these 8 C's and just ask, was this quality present in that moment? Was I calm? Was I clear? Was I curious? Was I compassionate? Was I confident? Was I courageous? Was I creative? Was I connected? My friends, this is not about judgment. It's simply about observation. You might notice that when you were snarky, there was no curiosity. Or that when you said yes when you really didn't want to, confidence and clarity were missing. Or that when you shut down or you were performing, that connection was nowhere to be found. This is your map. And once you see the map, you get to choose differently next time or even in the moment. Now, I will say if you want to go deeper with this, I really highly recommend checking out the Internal Family Systems Workbook by Dr. Richard Schwartz. You can get it on Amazon, and I'm telling you, it's one of the most practical tools I've found for learning how to work with all those autopilot parts that you have, um, so that you're working with them instead of them running the show. It actually is very helpful if you can go through that exercise with a trusted partner as well. Um, so, yeah, why does this matter? What's in it for you as a leader? When you lead from autopilot, you drain your energy, erode trust, and reinforce patterns that keep you small. But when you lead from your higher self, you model calm. You create safety. You become magnetic. People feel it. You feel it. The 8 C's aren't just a nice list. They're a leadership framework, one that doesn't require a new certification or strategy, just your presence. And what you practice, you strengthen. Today, maybe you just practice noticing. That's enough. If you want a place to start with this, try this. Before every meeting or big decision, scan the 8 C's. What's here? What's missing? What needs to be invited in? And remember, your true self isn't something you have to earn. It's already in you. It's beneath the noise, beneath the pressure, and beneath the performance. Let it speak. If today's episode resonated with you, you're going to love my weekly Between the Lines of Leadership newsletter. I talk about all kinds of things like this, whatever I'm reading, whatever I'm noticing, and what it really means to lead with intention instead of urgency. You can sign up using the link in the show notes. And until next time, stay curious, my friends. Stay grounded and lead from the inside out. Have a great week.